Guys, I reached a whole new level of basic last night. I painted my nails on top of a box of pumpkin spice mini beads. I mean, to be honest, it was mostly because I was lazy because I couldn't find anything else to like paint my nails on without like, you know, ruining the couch. Hello everyone! Today I am so excited to share with you guys some new Pinterest hacks tested. It has been a while since I've done one of these videos and I am so excited because I was online and I was looking for like Halloween related Pinterest hacks and I came across like a slew of them and I was like, there's so many I need to try. Today we are going to be testing out makeup specific Halloween hacks to see if they actually work and if there's any ways to make it easier or better, or maybe they just don't work at all, which hopefully is not the case, but you never know with these Pinterest hacks. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, sometimes it's my fault, most of the time it's my fault. So I'm excited, I have pumpkins, I'm ready for Halloween, so let's do this. So fact, I am incredibly grossed out by anything super gruesome, so trying to find something that didn't make me want to vomit was difficult. But this one didn't seem so bad and it seemed pretty realistic, so we're gonna test out my artistic skills and see how good I am at creating a 3D open wound. So it states you need the following to recreate this. Number one is a glue stick. Make sure it is non-toxic because you're putting it on your face. You're also gonna need some heavy-duty concealer, some powder, some red and purple eyeshadow, black liner, red lipstick, a gloss, as well as some various other things including a butter knife and some water. Alright, so let's slice and dice. First thing you're going to do is cut off a small segment of the glue stick and you're gonna put it on your face. Guess I should probably zoom you guys in so you can actually see what I'm talking about here. Alright, so we are gonna create a nice gash right here. They say to put water on your hands to help mold it into the shape you want, because like I don't really want that like really nice clean line thing there, because who gets gashes like that? You need to slice off another chunk. All right, what's next? Let the adhesive air dry or hit it with a blow dryer before covering it up with makeup. I'm not gonna wait around for it to air dry, so I'm gonna be right back. All right, so that wasn't just like a second, that was like 3 minutes of just blasting my eyeball with cold air. So my hair looks a little windblown. Yeah, it's fine. But it seems to be less tacky now, so we good. So first we're going to cover the glue with translucent powder. Now go in with the fluffy brush and your concealer or foundation or whatever and cover that bad boy up. I definitely recommend starting with a foundation and then going in with concealer because it's just a little bit easier to manipulate. But I'm gonna say right off the top to really make sure that your edges are very, very smooth up against the skin. Otherwise you're gonna have a really difficult time getting in and making sure that it looks smooth and even. So just as a heads up, learn from my mistake. This is a lot more difficult than you think to cover up, so I recommend finding a clear glue instead of a purple one, because dang, this stuff is not covering. And I'm like using like industrial strength, like thick, creamy concealer and foundation, and like that's as good as we're getting right now. All right, now on to the bruising. To make it look a little bit more realistic, they say to add a mixture of red and purple eyeshadow to either side of the wound, and that's supposed to add a little bit of depth and it's gonna make it look realistic and all that fun stuff, so we're gonna try that. All right, that's not too bad. This looks kind of bruisey, right? All right, now we wanna fill in the inside of that cut with some black liner and a little brush. They say to use a lip brush, but you know what? I can't find mine. We're gonna use a small angled brush instead. So the black is supposed to add this sort of like deep dried blood effect. All right, now we want to fill it in with red lipstick and then a deep brick red lip gloss to give the illusion of like fresh blood. It's like a little pink for my taste. All right, let's try a darker red. There we go, that's better. Here's a tip, go straight for the liquid lipstick. That is way better. This is the NYX Liquid Suede in Cherry Skies. Now I need a brick red gloss. This is the NYX Lip Cream. Probably not a gloss, but like probably do the same thing. All right, so verdict so far is mine looks terrible compared to hers. Hers looks way better. I'm gonna add a little bit more bruising to the outside and see if that makes a difference. All right, so there it is. There is the final head wound. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's not as good as the professionals. For someone that is not trained in this, that isn't a terrible head wound. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of myself. That's not too shabby. So we're gonna give this hack a big thumbs up. For Pinterest hack number 2, we're going to go on to fake blood that you can make with some of the stuff that you may have at home. I'm just gonna leave this wound on because, you know, kind of going with the whole head issue theme. So you are going to need a red lipstick, a creamy black eyeliner, and a thick clear gloss. So I'm gonna be using the CoverGirl Katy Perry mattes, and this is in the color Crimson Cat. And I'm going to be using ColourPop's black eyeliner. It's their creamy eyeliner in Swerve, but like it's only because I can't find my L'Oreal one anywhere. Any creamy black eyeliner will do. And then for the clear gloss, I'm using the Maybelline Shine Shot Glassy Shine Top Coat. This little bad boy here. And they have one of their like fancy pans to like mix it on, and I don't have that, so I'm gonna use a bronzer lid. So first things first, you need to shave off a little bit of the red lipstick. It doesn't show the amounts that they use, so I'm gonna go with this. We'll see if this is good enough. And then a little bit of a black liner. Mush that in here. I feel like a scientist. This is awesome. Then we're gonna add a nice big dollop of gloss. Blah. Then we're gonna mix. I'm gonna mix. I used way too much black liner. Whoopsies. Just a heads up for everyone doing this, you need just the tiniest amount of black liner. Otherwise you're gonna be like shaving off a ton of your red lipstick in order to compensate. This is why we're here though. This is why we need to test these things. All right, so we ended up something that looks kind of like that at the bottom. So the website said to use the bottom end of a brush and dip it into the blood, because that makes sense because it will be impossible to get it out of the brush fibers. I'm gonna put a little bit around my whole head wound thing over here. Woohoo! Yeah! That looks good. That is awesome. Looks disgusting. I don't even want to look at it anymore. That's how you know you got a winner. All right, I'm definitely gonna say that this is also a big thumbs up. For hack number 3, we're gonna be testing out how to create a sort of mermaid-like effect using fishnets. Now, spoiler alert, I actually know that this works really well, but I wanna test it out using different textures and colors and things like that. And I was gonna take this off, but I don't know, I'll just do it on this side of the face. I'll be like a wounded mermaid. So the first thing you're going to need is a fishnet stocking of some description. This should have like relatively large holes in it because you want to be able to see those scales on your face. And we're going to cut off a chunk. Then I'm just going to chop it down the middle so I have one piece of fabric, like so. And I want to test out a bunch of different colors and choices, so if you want to do something more subtle with golds, you could do that versus colors and stuff like that. So the first one I want to test out is the NYX eyeshadow, and this is in Mermaid. What a coincidence. And I think I'll use a sponge to dab it on because I feel like I'm gonna get the most pigment out of it that way. All right, I can't find my sponge, so actually I'm gonna be testing out something entirely different. We're gonna be using cotton pads, and we'll see if that does anything. Which would actually be kind of nice because then you won't ruin any of your sponges. And then the other ones I wanna test out, one is the L'Oreal, this is their pressed infallible shadows, and this is in the color Metallic Lilac. And then the other one is by ColourPop, and this is their Super Shock Shadow in Cheap Date, which is a gold color. I wanted to see what it would look like to have like really nice like reflective metallic scales. So if you wanted to do something really like pretty and girly, you're going to stretch it over an area that you want to use, and then you're just gonna dab it. I don't know if this is working, but we'll find out shortly. I can't see anything right now. Aha! Got a couple of nice scales right there. So, cotton pads. That actually works. Now let's try this like purpley shade, shall we? All right. Purple shadow, how we doing? Personally, I think that looks a lot better. This looks almost like bruising on the face, so I wouldn't recommend that. We'll make it like a really cool, like scaly highlight. Nope, you know what? That did not really work very well. I was really hoping that that would work well, but it does not. So I'm gonna say that the ColourPop shadows are a bust for this particular hack, which is so unfortunate because like, look at that. Would that look gorgeous with like scales on the face? Oh, that would look amazing. I would say of all of them, my favorite was NYX, the Mermaid shade, which is fitting, wouldn't you say? And then maybe try this particular formula in gold and see how that looks, because like this one was definitely the most pigmented and like the best looking. And then on to the final hack. We're going to be creating the look of realistic facial hair. So I will be a wounded merman. What you're gonna need are 2 different tones of brow mascara. So I'm gonna be using the Maybelline ones. This is the Brow Drama ones. And this is in deep brown and this is in soft brown. So we're gonna be doing a mixy mix of the 2 of them. And this is supposed to create really realistic looking fibers of hair. And they say here that an authentic beard is only application. So you use the wand and you apply the gel in a stippling motion and use 2 separate colors to make it look more realistic. All right, so we're gonna start with soft brown because I feel like that's gonna be the most realistic, and we're gonna stipple it on. Well, this particular wand does not work. As you can tell, that is a far cry from any sort of beard-like quality. We're gonna try the Essence one instead. This is the Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara, and it has a different wand. So let's see if this one works a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie to you, it feels like a cat like scratching at my face. This is really uncomfortable. Like I try stippling and that doesn't seem to do it very well. And then like brushing it on like I would to brush in like eyebrows or something doesn't seem to be doing anything either. This is not looking good and it's just making my face red. So I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna say that this one is a big fail. But you know what? 3 out of 4 is not bad. I would say that we were overall pretty successful and we came away with some pretty good ideas for Halloween, so hopefully you guys like this. Now I'm gonna take this off before I scare my children. And that's everything for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you love Pinterest hacks and you want to see more of them. And if you have any requests, leave them in the comment section below so I can see them. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. And check out all my social stuff in the info bar below. I hope you're all having an amazing, amazing week so far and have an amazing Halloween. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you girls. Mwah.